We're back.
I know, we just sort of got cut off.
And we did get cut off. Can you believe it? We got cut off on our last one. But they did try to warn us, but we like to keep talking. So anyway, we're on good timing with this one.
Actually, so our tongues just keep going.
Can you?
I mean, courtesy. That was a great one. No, we don't talk at all, do we?
No, we have nothing to say. We have no opinions whatsoever. You should see. You should.
We have to bite our tongue.
I know sometimes we're going, maybe not. Maybe shouldn't. But all right, so this is a popular subject, and I know this has changed over the years.
Observe, assess, and react to sports,
particularly women's
changing since I grew up.
It's got to be a lot between what you used to could wear. Start off with all that. I mean, were you able? I mean, were you? I mean, were you able to even wear shorts back then and stuff?
We had. I can remember in high school, it was a full body outfit with like culottes.
Okay. And for those of you who do not know what culottes are, they go down to kind of your knees.
Well, yeah, down to your knees, sort of like skirts for each leg. Really, that's basically what it is. Skirt made for each. And it was a full outfit, which was crazy if you had to go to the bathroom in the middle of class, because you have to take the whole thing off to go. Okay. Because there was no barn door in the back like those, suits. So we had those.
And did boys and girls go to gym together?
Oh, no.
And boys and girls sports were separated, of course.
Well, you have to remember that when I was in high school, there were no women's sports.
Oh, okay. See, this is good. Okay, so we're starting with no sports at all.
We had intramurals, which was an after-school program that you played with your classmates. You were broken up into teams, and you could maybe have basketball. I can remember basketball and maybe scooter soccer, but basketball.
Scooter soccer?
That was fun.
Scooter soccer?
It was a little square. Actually, it was invented by one of our phys ed teachers, from what I was told. It's like a 12 by 12, 2-inch thick board on wheels, and you'd sit on it, and it had this huge, like 3-foot in diameter canvas ball, and each team would be sitting on each end of the gym, and each team had their own 5 scooters, and you had to get the ball and hit it above the other team's wall. It was fun. You got more smash. That's probably why my fingers are all smashed fingers and toes, but we loved it. It was one of them.
The boys and girls played that together?
Nope.
Okay, girls only.
Oh, girls only.
I bet y'all were tough too, weren't you?
Well, we were. My biggest thing is I wanted to be able to have my arms big enough to go around that ball so I could carry it. And I have 8 arms, so I could do it. So, yes. And then you get over close enough and try to kick it over your head to get their wall. But we had no sport teams for girls.
So this is when you were in high school?
This was in high school. And my sister was 4 years behind. And by the time she came up, they had tennis. The girls could play tennis. Because that's an individual sport. It's not a contact sport. It's not. You had a tennis team, but you'd only play with a partner or you'd be single. So you have to understand that we did not have women's sport teams that competed.
Until when? Even in your college?
In college, no.
Wow.
In college, we again
and
had
survived?
teams. We survived. We had teams. Of course, I went to a school that was a phys ed major too.
Wow.
And it was a science-oriented school. So everybody had to take phys ed. And again, it was not co-ed. They were separate.
It was a girls.
Girls, if it was girls, that's it.
The college was all girls, or the college was boys and girls?
Boys and girls.
Okay. But your
phys ed classes were all separate. Yep. And you had to have one phys ed, like a half a semester, every semester. So you took like 10 weeks of something. And I enjoyed it. I had fun. I took swimming. Everybody had to take swimming.
I can't even imagine what you had to wear to swim.
Oh, yeah. And remember, this is upstate New York, and it was cold. I had to run from one building to the other, and if your hair was still wet, it'd be frozen by the time you get across the quad there. Anyway, but you had to, and it was, again, they didn't have women's sport. We had, like, again, an intramural,
Okay.
because I remember playing soccer. Now, when I tell kids that I've played soccer longer than they have been alive, most of the people I'm around, it has been, because that was in 1965.
It's when you could start playing soccer?
We had soccer teams, but it was just within the school.
Okay.
The competition was like with.
I didn't even know soccer was in America at that point, I guess.
Do you
really.
know, in high school, our phys ed teacher wanted us to play soccer. And she had us, now here's the big thing. We all bought men's jeans because girls did not have blue jeans.
See?
And we were going to go play on the Cinder parking lot. We were going to play soccer. And you had to have jeans because you didn't want to fall. No shin guards, remember. We were tough. And I can remember that. That was in high school. And then in college, again, it was like an intramural, and there was a phys ed sorority. I swear the ground shook when these girls ran. Anyway, they said to me, "Oh, we need a goalie. We need a goalie. Come and play." And I was playing for our dorm because it was dorms and it was fun. I'm not a goalie. I like my face. I said, I'll play fullback. So I play, and I mentioned this before. We did it on another podcast, but that was in the 60s, late 60s. Then after that, women worked very hard to get teams. And probably now the teams, women basketball, I mean, they're baseball, softball. Women,
But you weren't trying to compete with men.
no.
You wanted to be your own.
We wanted
You
to be
wanted
our
to. You
own,
wanted to
yeah.
compete against other women.
Other women, yes. I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to compete against them. And if you look at, and I will point out, because soccer seems to be, our kids did soccer. If you look at and they've done co-ed, don't get me wrong. I've coached co-ed.
Oh yeah, all the rec leagues are
it.
usually co-ed.
I love it.
And the schools, the school ones are rec ed.
Yes, down here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they're small, and in order to get enough, you got to be able. And can I understand that? Yes, I can.
But the girls are expected to do the same thing as boys are.
You don't whine about it. And when I was coaching at the private school, there was another woman coach, and she and I, the superintendent or the headmaster, he said, we need to rewrite the rules for the soccer program. It has not been rewritten. So we rewrote those whole for that area. Okay. And in that, it was supposed to be co-ed. And in that, we stated you have to have 2 females on the field. It's co-ed. Oh, well, don't give me any complaints. 2 females on the field. There's nothing wrong with that. In Northern Virginia, they have adult co-ed teams. The girls have to have guys. The guys have to have girls. And if you don't have at least 2, then you got to play down.
Well, you really can't call it co-ed if there's no.
That's exactly
there's no
it.
co and no ed.
Some in our council did exactly that. They didn't put girls on because, okay, physiologically, yes, we are different. But I would take some of my women players, and they were superb. Because guys don't really know how to play against them sometimes. And they tend to be very tenacious and not afraid.
I know. Some of them are real beasts on the field. I mean, they really
are. And
they'll take the hits just like the guys do, face everywhere.
and they sometimes have a better thought pattern, because when they play, it's not me, I need to go. It's a team player. And I did have one really good team, Henston, and I had 2 or 3 girls on the team, and the guys, we would start scoring, and the guys were so good that they wanted set it up for the girls to score.
Okay, well, that was nice.
And it was, and that's the type of team. They didn't resent the girls on the team. They respected the girls on the team. They played well together. They knew that they could depend on them. So yes, but now you get on a more professional level. And the women's soccer team, they're awesome. I mean, their skill level is so high. Do they want men playing with them? Why should they? They have their men's team. Is that what's happening?
No, and see, and I do feel like if you've got a women's team and the women want to be on the women's team and the men, and then if you want to be on a co-ed, then you go to co-ed. But you don't need to put a man on a woman's just to satisfy any kind of. It's just me, people, but I'm sorry. I guess that's my generational.
You remember how you were saying that when you interview for a job, you might have to have 3 interviews. And so, well, I don't really want to have 3 interviews. Well, here's the same thing. Okay, you're trying out for the men's team, and you may not be the best for the men's team. Does that mean that you have the right to do whatever things you may want to do to get on the women's team?
You're saying if you're a man.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a man and you're trying out for the man's team and you're not good enough to like maybe go in there with these 300 or 400 pound guys or whatever, say football or something.
All right.
Let's just say, something that's really. No, because you play like a girl don't mean you get to be on a girl.
I love it. There's the point. That is exactly it. That is exactly. Just because you play like a girl doesn't mean you have to and go play on their team. Hello, we worked too hard to get teams and to be and to get paid on that professional level. Really. Now you see, we're going all around that little item that's driving me crazy and several of us.
Well, and a lot of states now are voting to keep things the way they used to be, women and men.
Yes, I think you should stay the gender you were born with at birth. I mean, no matter what you happen to do, but you can't play on their team. I'm sorry.
Well, it doesn't give a good advantage because you are different. I mean, there are, as you said, there are physiological differences.
There are, and it just.
And girls have, like you said, worked too hard to compete in their own arena to get where they are, to have somebody. But I can't imagine, because I don't know right now of any women really trying to get on a man's team. Have you heard of that? I haven't.
No, the only time I would see a woman go on like football is usually they're really good kickers, and they're probably soccer players that are really good kickers, and that's all they do. But that doesn't mean that they've changed anything about themselves to be on the men's team.
But I don't see women fighting to be on.
No, they're not. No, I mean,
there's so many reasons that it's wrong for me. There's so many levels of reasoning that this is wrong.
Physical structure.
But I had to ask this question because I know our time is going to run out again. We only have my question is, where are the women that fought for all these women's rights and fought for women to do all these things? Why are they not out there speaking out more? Because, I mean,
I think they are.
Well,
and some of them are not listening.
Some of them are, but I mean, they're also the ones that want to take everything away from me from getting my door opened. They used to fight because, I didn't need to have my door open. And now they're out there saying that, I don't know where these women are that are they used to fight for a woman to have all these rights.
I see what you're saying. And now we have these rights, but aren't you?
But see, now they have crossed the line so far that they can't come back. Exactly.
They've walked all the way down to the end of that board and discovered, whoa, the water's really down there, way down, and I can't come back because I don't want to say that I might have been wrong.
Exactly. And that's what's griping me the most. I mean, everything that you took away from me as a woman that I like and was trying to fight for, and now you've gotten it so bad that now there is really no defining. I mean, and so now we're having to fight, and now you're taking it backwards.
Yeah, it's just
back to where it just plucks my nerve.
That's why I don't always.
I don't know how they're going to unburn a bra.
Look at that. That's an angel number. Did you know that?
Oh, is it?
Yep, I like that number.
Oh, it's not as bad as I thought. Okay, good. Yeah. So I mean, these are questions that I have, and yes, we are dancing around a subject because we're trying to be
nice. We don't want to be not politically correct.
Well, we don't really care about that.
We don't really.
But we were just having a conversation about courtesy and respect. So,
and that's true. Again, those people.
Because I am not politically correct.
Yeah.
I think all of this is wrong.
Oh, I do
believe that you should be playing on the gender, unless it's a co-ed team that is deemed a co-ed team. You need to stick to your birth.
I was thinking
team.
Yep.
Team boy. Team girl.
I was going to say. Never. I will not say what's going in through my mind, but yes, and I just can't, because there's a lack of respect. It's like, I can't play on your team, so I'm going to go over on this team, but that means you really don't respect your teammates that you want to barge in on. You see what I'm saying?
But see, they see themselves as this now, but your physiological body is not that. Your body is not what you. Just because
there's always going to be somebody better than you are wherever, and they may be real females.
And listening to your story about how you all had nothing.
We didn't have any teams.
I mean, so young, like you said, it's come so far now, and now
give them their due. You know,
again, if you don't like it, then go ahead and make up a whole different team. Make a team that's for.
I have this copy. This is from the Southside Electric Cooperative. And this young woman, outstanding softball player. She's local. She's from South Hill. And I mean, look at that young woman playing. And you want to deny her this right to be on this women's team and put somebody else in who could probably, I mean, she's a pitcher. Who could probably pitch, maybe, I mean, she's a pretty strong pitcher, better than this young woman, and you're going to take her spot just because you couldn't get on the men's team?
And you're cheating her out possibly a scholarship, a professional thing. I mean, it's so many things, and that she's worked hard all her life with all these rec leagues and all the things that she's done.
I know. I mean, she's just phenomenal.
And I think about the swim teams.
Oh,
I mean, swimming it's different for men than women.
Different upper body difference, all the different. I don't care.
But not that women don't work hard to get that upper body strength, but it's still a difference than the men.
It is.
But again, I don't want to be a man. I mean, we want to be in our league of women. We want to be the strong and healthy as we are that fits in our category.
That's right. I mean, I did karate, and again, it was. We still do katas, and we still talk about self-defense, and that was been 40 years ago. And you did not have many women breaking into the martial arts. And ours is an Okinawan style. There were very few Okinawan women, but as the years they have come in, and I've seen some beautiful, I think they were Okinawan young women doing katas to music. Just gorgeous performing on stage. And is it tough? It is tough. I mean, but am I going to be able to compete against men? Yes, but differently.
In your
In my, what I
Right.
can do,
right.
okay? I may not be able to do the punches as hard, but I can block and I can do something else. I
But
know
you
that.
you can still be effective.
I made one man very angry because I kept blocking his punches and then I'd punch him. But it's a defensive style, and that's what I was doing. And I did what I could do. In our style, you block, and once you've made your block, then you have the freedom to go in and do what you need to do. And sometimes you would come up, usually it was a younger guy, that would see an older woman. As I was in my late 30s, mid 30s, and on up. And they may be in their 20s. And I'd be sparring against them for a belt level. And you'd see them with this, big guy, woman, this will be fun. And I had a student sitting there, and he looked at my husband, he says, he's in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just let him do whatever he wanted, and I caught his leg, I don't know how many times, and I wanted to just jerk it and knock him down. But they stopped me. I'm like, darn, let me wipe this smirk off of his face.
Mm-hmm.
And he quit smiling.
Well, in karate and all, you learn ways because you learn you learn these points on the body that anybody of any size or any age and anything is, once you know where you need to do, then you can handle the situation.
And he wasn't smiling by the end. 2 or 3 times they stopped me from, literally, I had his leg and I was ready to dump him, and they wouldn't let me do it. But that's okay, because maybe he learned a lesson and he learned respect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you have to teach respect.
And then there was another guy, he was a little bit older than I, and he was a bigger man, and he kept coming and punching, and I block it and then I nail him. And after that, he came up, he apologized to me. I'm like, he says, I lost my temper. And I didn't realize he had lost his temper because I was just doing my thing. I wasn't angry, because you can't get angry.
No, uh-uh.
When you get angry, you lose it and you can't see the forest for the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets you into trouble. And I've learned that you don't do observe, assess, and react. Stay safe. So again, and that was my choice to go into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I never regret that, because you get respect.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn what you're capable of doing,
Mm-hmm.
and what you're not capable of doing. Am I going to punch as hard as my husband? No, but I might punch in a different spot or do something with control.
And I believe, to sum up, because I know that
We're running out of time again.
but I think to sum up is that we definitely support women's sports.
Absolutely.
We definitely support women in the fields that they want to do.
Yes.
But women be women, and men stay on their, except for the co-ed thing. I know that I don't even know that it may be generational, but I know that if my granddaughter or somebody I know, if I knew a female that was trying to get onto a man's thing, I'd be like, why? What is your point?
What's your purpose?
What is your purpose? Do you have this that you can do? And nowadays, there's not many fields that women can't do things on. Correct?
Exactly. And I remember years ago, wrestling.
Oh, they have that now.
Yes, for women.
Mm-hmm. And they got MMA fighting.
And I remember when women broke into the wrestling,
mm-hmm.
because
mm-hmm.
they had nothing, and some young men would not wrestle against them. They'd forfeit rather than.
But I'm going to tell you one thing: if you're a woman and you're on a co-ed or you want to do it, then by golly, do it.
Do it.
And I have to
That's
say,
right.
there's a lot of the mothers
Give
that
it
I
all.
see, and it surprises me because I'm still of the fact that, ooh, this girl got hit in the chest or this girl got hit in the face, because girls usually don't want to get hit those places.
But expect it.
But if you are a girl and you want to do this, then by golly, do it, and don't be whining about it.
And do it well.
Exactly.
Don't hold back.
And I love the mothers that are on the sidelines going, get up. You can do it. You can fight
That's
harder.
exactly it.
I mean, because if this is what you're going to do, then do it, and don't be.
And I'd support them.
Don't be a girl about it.
I would support them all the way.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you've got MMA girls and you've got basketball teams and you've got softball teams and you've got soccer teams, why? And the same thing for boys. Why do you have to?
Unless it's, co-ed, because we know.
Co-ed, yeah. Co-ed is, like I said, totally different.
Yep.
But stay in your lane, people. Stay in your lane.
We're talking more professional type stuff. Yeah.
But I mean, they have professional teams for a lot of
That's
this.
right.
And some of these people are just trying to do it for the Olympics, or they're trying to get on. I mean, and if you get somebody that is not truly who they are,
gender,
and then they beat you out for an Olympic
gender specific,
and they beat you out of an Olympic,
that is just,
it would just go all over me, because Olympics are something that people do strive so hard,
and they work a long time at it.
They do.
And just because you couldn't do it with yours doesn't mean you have to come over and do it with theirs.
Stay in your lane, people.
Yes, courtesy and respect.
Courtesy and respect from Ash and Soot.
That's right.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.